Good morning, nerd fighters, and welcome to Sunset Talkie Time with Niall. Do you like how, evenly lit it is right now? It's because there's a burning supernova in England for a change. And I know I've made that joke in about 3 videos now, but it's actually really surprising. But the problem being, that means I get about 20 minutes of optimum lit footage, and then it just all goes to shit. So, we'll see how this goes. So, this week, we're meant to be talking about learning curves, which I didn't really know what to talk about in that, because it's kind of a big subject. But there seems to be a lot of big subjects coming up in the next month. And when I say big, I don't mean big. I mean all-encompassing. You know what I mean. You guys are making videos too. So what I want to talk about today is, as soon as it's learning curve, I was like, well, a learning disability is a learning curve. So when I was really little, I had trouble reading and writing. I couldn't read or write properly until I was nearly 12, which is really embarrassing when you're that age. Now I don't care, because everything's typed anyway, so chill out. Just dealing with that is probably the biggest learning curve that I've gone through. You see, I was always, if you'll excuse me a second for mocking people with learning disabilities, but I find the best way to deal with things is to make humour out of it, that I was always too stupid to be a normal kid, but not stupid enough to be in the special class with the people who had, you know, the teaching assistants, rather than just somebody screaming at them from the front that they got it right, or wrong, even. But that meant that I didn't get a lot of help from, anybody. So I had to learn in which ways, my brain didn't quite function, and find workarounds and different ways of doing stuff. Because a lot of learning disabilities come from actually intaking any kind of information, be that whatever they're trying to teach you in school, or just run-of-the-mill everyday stuff like social interactions or how shops work. But that was kind of cool, because then I think I was about 13 where I actually started to do well at stuff, because I'd completely rewired the way that my brain works. But at the same time, that also makes me look like a crazy and a weird person to the people who, because I've changed. I've been oh god, he doesn't do the normal thing. That kid's mental, kind of thing. And my mind jumped to this thing first, although it probably wasn't very interesting, or indeed a very in-depth explanation of exactly what happened. That is probably the only thing that I've ever had to deal with alone, because it's in my brain and it's impossible to explain to other people. So I guess, if you're going to take anything away from this video, attitudes and policy around mental health is still completely fucked. Everything from, trivial behavioural disorders of kids, so you drug them up and then push them back out the door and then everything's fine, because the teacher can now stop complaining rather than doing their fucking job. All the way from that up to veterans committing suicide because the mental health services that they need aren't there and there's no support network. I know they're two huge extremes, but I think it's important that in that I learnt that there are these things and these people and these groups. Trying to take on the world on your own is impossible, and that is the key thing that I learnt from that thing. That was my learning curve. And that was me rambling. I do apologise, but I didn't get this theme, and it's currently Monday morning, so I had to get a video done. Because Dave will hurt me if I don't.